That's the first time I ever fired it.
Why didn't you kill me?
I'd just send somebody else. I would rather it was you, Arthur. I have to live with it.
In a lavish Colombian villa, an international crime lord enjoyed the life his wealth could buy. Every corner of the property was guarded by heavily armed personnel. Swimming in his pool each morning was a cherished ritual, until one day his watch slipped from his wrist and sank to the bottom. As he dove to retrieve it, a shadowy figure grabbed him under the water, holding him down with relentless force. He struggled for air, hoping someone would notice, but no help came. Minutes later, his body floated to the surface, and the assassin subtly positioned him to appear as if he were still swimming. The intruder, Arthur, the organization's top assassin, moved with precision. He descended to the basement, shed his swimwear, and revealed the muscular figure of a man who never failed. His kills were always clean. No shots fired, no evidence, no witnesses. Chaos above didn't faze him. The servants and guards assumed the crime lord had suffered a tragic accident. Seizing the opportunity, Arthur changed into a chef's uniform and blended in seamlessly with the staff. He exited the villa calmly, retrieved his gear, and drove to a bridge, timing his moves with the ferry passing underneath. Clinging to the boat's tail, he let the engine carry him forward effortlessly. The entire operation, from assassination to cleanup, took less than a day. Returning to his secluded home, Arthur rewarded the guard with a bottle of fine wine, then sped away in his speedboat, ensuring no trace of his presence remained. Later, he relaxed with music, then meticulously went through the target's information and photos, destroying any evidence. Months of research had prepared him for this moment. The victim was a notorious Mexican smuggler, feared and hated by all in the area. Arthur's principle was simple. Killing was easy. Leaving no trace was the real skill. Satisfied with the clean execution, he prepared to collect his payment, confident that the organization would reward him handsomely, enough for a lifetime of luxury. Arthur later met with his handler, Harry, to receive payment for the completed job. Harry complimented him as usual, acknowledging that the mission had been carried out flawlessly. But this meeting felt different. The atmosphere was heavier, and Harry's expression was unusually tense. Instead of ending the meeting with money alone, Harry revealed that the organization was facing a serious internal threat. Sensitive information had been leaked, compromising multiple operations. After a thorough investigation, the trail led to someone Arthur never expected, his closest friend, Mike. Like Arthur, Mike was a highly trained assassin molded by the same organization. Harry made it clear that loyalty was the foundation of their world. Betrayal, no matter who committed it, could not be forgiven. He placed a file in front of Arthur containing detailed information about Mike and issued a direct order: eliminate him. Arthur was stunned. Mike wasn't just a colleague. He was the man who had saved his life on numerous missions. They had trained together, fought together, and survived situations no one else could. Arthur immediately refused, saying he would never kill someone he considered family. Harry didn't raise his voice. Instead, he calmly reminded Arthur that disobedience carried the same consequences as betrayal. If Arthur refused the assignment, the organization would treat him as a traitor as well. After a long, painful silence, Arthur took the file. He said nothing as he left. Later that night, sitting alone, Arthur stared at Mike's photograph. Memories of their shared past overwhelmed him. He understood now. This mission was unlike any other. This time, the target wasn't a stranger. It was someone he loved like a brother. Arthur got ready to carry out the mission targeting Mike. He spent days mapping out every detail: Mike's daily habits, his routines, even the smallest patterns in his behavior. Every potential opening was accounted for, every risk minimized. But when the confrontation finally came, Arthur discovered just how formidable his old friend truly was. The two clashed with extraordinary skill. Each strike and counterstrike was executed flawlessly. They moved like mirrored reflections, anticipating each other's tactics with uncanny precision. Despite the intensity of the fight, Arthur suddenly hesitated. Seeing the hesitation, Mike asked why Arthur was holding back. Arthur admitted the truth. He could not bring himself to kill someone he considered a brother. Mike nodded, understanding completely. Together, they arranged a plan to make it appear as if Mike had been eliminated, ensuring that the organization would believe the mission was complete. Arthur reported back, mission accomplished, without compromising Mike's life. With that burden lifted, Arthur redirected his attention to mentoring the next generation. Steve, Harry's son, had potential, but lacked experience and discipline. Arthur started training him rigorously, teaching him stealth techniques, combat strategy, and the philosophy behind being a mechanic assassin. Each lesson was precise, designed to instill efficiency, patience, and analytical thinking. Steve initially struggled to grasp the full extent of what was required. Mistakes were frequent, and frustration ran high. But over time, his skills improved, and he began showing ingenuity, resilience, and a sharp mind for strategy. Arthur recognized that the journey would be long and demanding, but he also knew that with proper guidance, Steve could one day surpass even the most elite assassins in the organization. Steve faced his first real mission under Arthur's watchful guidance. Their target was a low-level arms dealer operating in the city. Before taking action, Arthur spent hours instructing Steve, emphasizing patience, careful observation, and the importance of remaining invisible in plain sight. Steve shadowed the target for days, learning to anticipate movements, identify weak points, and note potential security measures. Every detail mattered. The dealer seemed casual and unthreatening at first glance, but he was unpredictable and had hidden precautions. Steve stumbled at first, hesitating and making minor mistakes, yet he quickly adapted, applying Arthur's lessons with focus and precision. When the decisive moment arrived, Steve struck with flawless timing. He neutralized the dealer cleanly, leaving no evidence behind, and staged the scene so it appeared accidental. He exited without alerting anyone, blending back into the crowd as if nothing had happened. Back at their safe house, Arthur went over the mission in detail, praising Steve for the precise execution and highlighting areas that needed refinement. The experience boosted Steve's confidence and gave him a clear understanding of how a professional assassination should be planned and carried out. From this point onward, Arthur escalated the difficulty of Steve's training, introducing more complex targets and scenarios designed to push his skills further, preparing him to become a truly formidable assassin. Arthur knew Steve was ready to step into a more dangerous mission. Their target this time was a mid-level arms and drug dealer, notorious for his network of loyal bodyguards and heavily secured hideout. Every detail had to be accounted for. Arthur meticulously mapped out the operation, assigning Steve specific tasks. Observe the perimeter, monitor the guards, and keep escape routes secure. Together, they spent days surveilling the location, tracking guard schedules, identifying entrances, and noting weak points in security. When the operation began, tension ran high. Arthur led the direct approach while Steve stayed alert, ready to respond to any unforeseen complications. Several moments nearly exposed them, but Steve's focus and quick thinking, honed under Arthur's mentorship, prevented any mistakes. In the end, the target was eliminated cleanly. The scene was staged to mislead authorities, and both escaped without leaving evidence behind. Back at their safe house, Arthur debriefed Steve thoroughly, reinforcing lessons on adaptability, clear communication, and the painstaking preparation required to succeed in high-risk operations. This mission solidified Steve's confidence and demonstrated his ability to work seamlessly alongside Arthur in complex situations. With several missions behind him, Steve was ready for his first solo challenge. Arthur assigned him a high-stakes operation, a skilled assassin from a rival organization known for cunning strategies and extreme caution. The mission demanded precision, patience, and absolute control. Steve spent days analyzing his target, learning routines, habits, and identifying weak points. He rehearsed every step, using the techniques Arthur had drilled into him, blending in, anticipating moves, and planning multiple exit strategies. When the operation began, Steve faced numerous life-threatening situations. He engaged in close-quarter struggles, narrowly avoided detection, and adapted on the fly to unexpected obstacles. Each decision tested his judgment, composure, and training. Ultimately, Steve completed the mission successfully. The target was neutralized, the scene meticulously controlled, and no evidence pointed to him. Returning to Arthur, he underwent a detailed debrief. Arthur highlighted areas for improvement while commending Steve for his clever execution, bravery under pressure, and ability to apply his lessons effectively. This solo operation marked a turning point in Steve's development as a skilled assassin. Arthur and Steve set their sights on Andrew, a 45-year-old cult leader who claimed divine authority and controlled millions in donations. Rumors implicated him in the death of a young nun, sparking outrage and marking him as a high-priority target. The pair traveled to Chicago, carefully observing Andrew's habits and movements from a safe distance. After scouting the penthouse, they secretly installed miniature surveillance cameras to monitor every room. Patience was critical. They waited for the perfect moment to act. Steve noticed the doctor administering ketamine, which could disrupt their plan, forcing them to adjust in real time. When the timing aligned, Arthur restrained Andrew while Steve skillfully inserted an endoscopic device, suffocating the cult leader quietly. The doctor's unexpected return caused chaos, but Steve neutralized him and any other resistance swiftly. The operation became a high-intensity escape. Andrew's security detail pursued them, exchanging gunfire as the duo navigated stairwells and corridors. Using clever disguises, they blended in with departing guests, ensuring no trace of their presence remained. The mission ended successfully, with Andrew eliminated and both Arthur and Steve safely disappearing into the city. The escape escalated into chaos. Arthur and Steve fought fiercely against pursuing bodyguards. Steve wrestled with opponents, snatched weapons, and narrowly avoided plummeting from the building. They rappelled down using ropes, only to find the cords too short. Bullets whizzed past from a guard above, forcing them to take cover inside a nearby apartment. To avoid further detection, the pair cleverly disguised themselves as guests leaving the building, then split up to throw off anyone tracking them. Later at the airport, Arthur encountered Sebastian, an assassin everyone thought had died during the South Africa operation. Sebastian revealed that Dean had paid him to eliminate the remaining operatives, faked his own death, and orchestrated a plan to frame Harry, compelling Arthur to unknowingly target his friend. A sudden confrontation erupted. Sebastian lunged with a knife, but Arthur acted with precision. Using a fire extinguisher pin, he struck Sebastian and sent him tumbling into traffic, where a speeding vehicle finished the job. Arthur remained unshaken, fully aware of the dangerous game unfolding around him. Before confronting Dean, Arthur alerted Steve that a group of assassins from the organization had captured him. He quickly explained the location of a hidden gun beneath a sofa. Steve retrieved the weapon, fought off 3 attackers, and managed a daring escape. Later, as they gathered gear from the warehouse, Steve noticed Harry's silver gun among Arthur's collection. It became clear to him that Arthur had been the one to kill his father. Despite this revelation, Steve said nothing, silently following Arthur's guidance. During their next move, they approached Finch, one of Dean's key subordinates. Steve fired a warning shot into Finch's leg, signaling their seriousness. Meanwhile, Arthur used threats against Finch's daughter to coerce him into revealing Dean's schemes, including payment amounts and strategic plans. With the intelligence secured, Arthur and Steve readied themselves to pursue Dean, fully aware of the dangers ahead. Arthur commandeered a car and tracked Dean's movements using a surveillance camera positioned outside a building. Simultaneously, Steve hijacked a bus, armed and ready. As Dean's convoy appeared, Steve accelerated, ramming the rear vehicle. A rapid shootout erupted. Arthur, taking down several attackers, leapt onto a garbage truck to pursue Dean's car. Steve intercepted them at a narrow alley, forcing the lead car into a crash that caused an explosion. Dean, badly injured, crawled out of the wreckage, barely alive. Working in tandem, Arthur and Steve emptied their ammunition at any remaining threats, then calmly retreated. With the immediate danger neutralized, Arthur devised a plan for them to vanish completely, assuming new identities and leaving their pursuers in the dust. As Steve reached for water, he revealed his father's gun, and Arthur realized that Steve now knew the full truth. Arthur silently listened as Steve spoke, keeping his own thoughts hidden. They stopped at a gas station to refuel. Steve stepped out to pump gas and went inside briefly. Before leaving, he dismissed Arthur's silent concern, saying, "I don't give a damn anymore." Then, pretending to check the gas nozzle, Steve secretly released the gasoline and walked away, leaving Arthur calm behind the wheel. He moved behind a wall, drew his gun, and fired at the car, causing it to erupt into flames. Later, Steve visited Arthur's house, uncertain what to do next. He opened his old mentor's favorite music player, then went to the garage, started his car, and drove off. While driving, he noticed a note on the passenger seat from Arthur. "If you're reading this, I'm gone." Steve allowed himself a small smile just before the car exploded. Back at Arthur's house, once the music ended, a hidden wire triggered a bomb, consuming the building in fire. Reviewing the gas station explosion footage, investigators were stunned to see the supposed victim had escaped unharmed. Arthur, the master assassin, had survived yet again, eliminating every threat without leaving a trace, and that is how it ended. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.